Hey everybody, brand new project we're starting today. So it is no secret if you have kept up with a couple of my videos that me and my best buddy Matt absolutely adore Mysterio and are really excited that he's going to be the new villain in the next Spider-Man film. Now that Spider-Man film is coming out in July, so we've only got a couple of months until it premieres. So what better time to do a full-on awesome Mysterio cosplay that we can both wear because we're about the same size. So what we're doing today is Mysterio's most iconic piece, and that is the big old fishbowl dome that he wears on his head pretty much at all times. Now in most versions of Mysterio this dome is opaque so you can't see in it, but obviously he can see out of it. A lot of cosplayers have done this for versions of their costume, just having a full opaque dome. But me and Matt decided we want to go for something a little bit different, but still keep sort of the cool, mysterious Mysterio look. So what we're going to go for is essentially a crystal ball kind of look. So you're going to have the main big dome, and then inside we're going to have our own mask, which will actually have an opaque sort of face, so you can't see who's wearing it underneath, and then that dome is going to be filled with a load of smoke. Obviously we will have to have like little fans and vents in there just to circulate it, because it won't be filled with smoke all of the time. Just basically if anyone wants a picture we can just smoke it up and it'll look really cool. So what I'm going to do first is work on the actual base helmet, because obviously we're not going to have it too big on our head, but obviously I need to know how big it is, so how much room we can feasibly have for the dome. And I've kind of been looking around online to see what other people have done for like full face helmets of that kind, and I found that you can get this. So this is what is called a chrome no face mask. This is basically just a really thin piece of plastic with like a chrome sort of, I guess, either spray or dye on it. However they've done it with the plastic, so it means you can't see in it, but whoever's wearing it can see out of it. Hard to demonstrate with a camera lens, but hey, you can just about see me there. But when you're actually wearing it and you don't have light glare, you can actually see through this really, really clearly. So this is going to be something that will be on the front of our Mysterio mask. So we've got our reflective face. Now we just need to actually build the rest of the helmet. So what I've already got is this template downloaded from Evil Ted Smith. This template was about £5 I think it was. And this is probably something that I do use for a lot of actual parts. And this was actually, I think it was, you got a helmet and some other bits as well. So yeah, you got a helmet and you got some shoulder and knee armors as well. Just as a sort of combined deal, so I might use a couple of the other ones at some point, but for now all I really need is the helmet part. So I'm just going to cut this out and then transfer it over to EVA foam. Alright, so these are our template pieces. This is the top of the head and the left and right side parts of the helmet. Now on Evil Ted's helmet, it's kind of, I guess the shape is a little bit kind of Magneto. So actually on the front of the helmet it does, on the template you can see it kind of goes in at an angle here and comes back out. I've just made it so it's straight curve because I didn't want that on there. And the front of the helmet does have a little point, so I might end up just sort of sanding that down a little bit as well. But we'll see when we put it together. And Evil Ted's plans do come with lots of little cutouts so you can make registration marks. So you want to line up these marks with each other, so we're just going to put some glue in here, line this bit up first, and you got to line these parts up as well, and then line the side bits to the helmet. Basically, just you want it to be even and as neat as possible. That way there's a lot less work of filling and sanding, like I did with my K2, because K2 was just done by a lot of guesswork,
a lot of gaps. So we're going to try and make this really nice and neat just to ease up on our workload. There you go, there's your little basic helmet shape. Yeah, the UK like cement adhesive stuff, not as good as barge. So there's still some gaps, which really sucks because it's expensive to get barge in. But what I'm going to do now is just going to work out the front face shape so we can get this mounted in, and it looks really nice. So yeah, just make it nice and rounded. We're just going to make it up as we go along, basically. Okay, so worked out the rough base shape of the helmet. Actually just going to be using this front one now as a just a test piece, and get another one that's going to be nice and neat for the final one, because just trying to work out how to put it together has messed up the front a little bit, but it's also allowed me to sort of figure out what needs to be done on the final one without ruining that. So we've trimmed down the basic head shape, taken out a little bit at the back, added a little bit more down the bottom here, so it actually makes a sort of a nice line up to the top and you don't have too much of an overhang. And as I said, this front bit is tacked on for the moment, so what I can do is I can work on the shape of the rest of the helmet, take this off and finish and paint all this up, and then when the front bit comes, then I can just reattach it. Also, because this is quite tight fitting to my head, it's also gonna need some air holes, so I've just been seeing what works best to cut out some holes so you can see they're not even in the front. Obviously just having a little test to see what works, so found out one of the little small sanding tools on the Dremel actually works best for drilling the holes rather than using the actual drill bit. So obviously they'll be a lot smaller and neater sort of placed out in the front, but you do need that because otherwise you're just going to be breathing in your own air with this. There will be fans in the outer dome area, but there's not going to be space in here to fit any fans in. So as I said, this is quite a tight fit. The foam I was using is 5mm, so it's quite flexible, and there'll be a little bit more room than if it was just using 1mm foam, and also it just makes a nice smoother sort of appearance around the head, not too big and bulky. So this fits me, so I hope this also fits Matt as well. As I said, cutting out a bit of the back of the helmet means that there's a little bit more room to get this on. So you're going to have to put it on, carefully slide it down, reposition it, and there you go. So that's on, and it's tight to my head. Just a lot of tweaking to figure out just how to get it to sit nicely. How much of the front to take down to put this on so you don't have like a big bit sticking out the back. So I'm fairly happy with this, how it's sitting now. Obviously you can see a bit of the actual person underneath, so that will be covered with some fabric. But also benefit of having the back of the helmet taken out is you've got full range of movement. So this isn't going to catch on anything at all. The only thing I'm thinking is might need a bit more air holes in the front, because with it being close you steam up and it's quite hot. So now we get to do the fun bit, which is actually working on all the little details. As I said, just keeping the front bit tacked on for now. You can still see the seams running down the side, so we're actually going to work on covering those seams. So just putting just a lot of sort of random foam detailing on there. Make it look like it's built for a purpose, like this could be like a technical piece of Mysterio's armour. So once that's all done, I can actually go and plaster dip this thing and get it ready for paint. So this is the random base shape. Obviously just gonna take the front bit off in a second before we spray it, but yeah, just done some of the Mysterio grid pattern on the helmet to kind of keep it in with the suit, as well as like the all-seeing eye thing that he has on there. His lapel stuff as well, and just some random like sort of greeby looking parts, just to maybe give it an idea that there might be some kind of technology stuff in there. That one's actually, I just recreated a bit of K2SO. He actually has this on the side of his head. That's just sort of like a random, I might be able to paint that to look like lights or buttons, and that could be maybe be a valve, so the idea of maybe that's where the smoke comes from, or a fan system in the helmet to help him breathe or whatever. So yeah, just gonna take this apart now and take this outside whilst we've still got some lovely warm sunshine, and we can plaster dip this. Obviously not the front, and the front will be properly blended into the helmet once the other visor turns up. So here we go, this is the base all now done in plaster dip. So this basically just seals the foam and gets it ready for paint. And this is the paint I'm going to be using. I've just started using these just for experimenting with, because I recently got it in my local Clark Stationers for £6 a can. This is spray paint that I actually used when I did a spray painting course in college for 2 days, and these are actually really nice, but I've never seen them around locally before and not at a decent price. So these are pretty cool. So this is the chrome silver one. I've got the chrome gold one. The chrome gold is amazing. It actually does form a proper, not like super chrome reflective surface, but a decent reflective surface. Silver one, not quite so much, but this is what we're going to be using to do the base of this helmet. So just going to warm this can up a little bit. So here we go, nice and pretty shiny chrome. So just to make it a little bit more defined, just going to go over it with a really simple black acrylic wash just to get in all of the grooves here. Then we can move on to remounting the faceplate.
So there you go, one completed base helmet that we're going to be using for Mysterio. It's a nice sort of tight fitting one, which go well under the dome, and as you can see, easily see out of it, but no one can see in. So this is what it looks like on. Make sure I put some holes in the front just to help with air circulation in here so it don't steam up and it doesn't get too hot. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. So that's part 1 of Mysterio done and out the way. More build videos coming soon. As always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you to my supporters on Patreon, especially to Jeff Kenny. If you want to support me on Patreon, links down in the description below. Or you can just watch my videos, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care.